This is everything that went down this week inside of Diablo Immortal. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Today I have a big one for you guys regarding an incoming update on the 29th of October. So only 2 days from today, what we're talking about here will be entering the game. We're going to be talking about new familiar skills, new essences, balance changes, changes inside of PvP and Battlegrounds, Bout of Realms, new cosmetics, and legendary blessings, giving us a better chance at legendary item drops, which is going to be absolutely necessary and exciting. Let's get into all the details right now. Now, being that these patch notes were sent to me a little bit early and are 17 pages long, some of the things inside of here we will go through a little bit more quickly to save you your time. First of all, as I mentioned, this is going to be dropping on the 29th of October. Bout of Realms has returned. We've talked about this on the channel before. You could prepare for it now. As you see, November 5th through November 9th is the time for you to form a party of up to 8 players from within your server. Notice that is highlighted right there. These have to be people in your server. Registration is going to be ending on the 9th of October. Then we have our timeline. The preliminaries are going on from November 10th through November 14th. The times are shown right here. Keep in mind, guys, even if you are the most competitive person and pay to win and you have the strongest account, or someone that's free to play that just wants to do it for fun, there are great rewards to be had throughout these events for all players, whether you win the big top spot or just are participating throughout the event. It's definitely worth participating in. Then we have the elimination rounds, which are going to go from November 11th through the 24th, where 64 teams across servers compete for the top 4 spots in a best of 3 elimination match. And then we have our timelines right there. Then the finals are going to be taking place from November 22nd through November 23rd, where those top teams compete. Then we have a round 2 cross-regional Bout of Realms, which is definitely new to the Bout of Realms overall. As you can see, we have qualifying teams from the Asia Pacific divisions and then from the Europe North American divisions. The invitations are going to be from the 24th of November through the 30th. If you've pre-qualified, you'll receive an invitation to participate. This is going to take place as a double round robin from November 1st through November 8th. You'll face off against each other's teams in your division twice, earning points for each win. As you can see, we've discussed it before. 3 points for a win, 1 for a loss, 0 for a forfeit. The grand finale is taking place on December 9th, where the 2 teams with the most points from the previous round will face off in a best of 5 grudge match to determine the final champion of each division. Here are some updates to the Bout of Realms from maybe the last time around. New spectator mode for elimination rounds and finals. You'll now be able to spectate elimination and rounds from the Bout of Realms event hub in-game. Top 4 prediction system. All players can predict 1st through 4th place team at the start of the elimination phase. Correct predictions will be rewarded at the end of the competition. So a little bit of gambling in there. I like it. And the new team management features. Teams can now be shared in chat channels to invite other players. A team chat channel has been added to facilitate communication amongst team members. You'll also be able to quickly filter teams based on resonance, number of members, and more. And then they go through all of the rewards. We have first place all the way down to the lower. I'm not going to go through all the rewards right here because there's a lot to go through inside of this video, but you can see as we go through all of those. So the Bout of Realms is going to be a lot of fun, even better this time around. But now let's talk about next the new familiar skills, or amalgamations, they're calling them. Your familiars have been on your side through your eternal fight against the forces in the burning hells, and through your combined trials, something miraculous is occurring. More than an ability to support you through the most harrowing onslaughts. They are evolving, and as you can see, our skitterite right here looks a little bit different. Let's talk a little bit more about what these amalgamated familiars are. When undergoing conversion, your aberrant familiars have a chance to take on new subspecies. Familiars that undergo this transformation will inherit a new legendary trait called an amalgamation, and their active skills will be enhanced. All amalgamated familiars will gain more powerful, new active skills, and 2+ legendary skills. Now, how do we get these new familiars? And are we going to be trashing our old familiars to get these? You have a chance to obtain the amalgam familiar through an aberrant conversion. It's a rare chance, but fate just may smile upon you. So we are again heavily being relying on RNG here. Adding a conversion stone to the conversion will increase the chances of receiving subspecies familiar if you do not use the subspecies familiar in the conversion. Additionally, if you manage to get an amalgamized familiar and use it in the conversion, you'll guarantee that the converted familiar will be the same species as the algam familiar, or one of the algam familiars if you use multiple. So what's going on here is we're able to get these stronger familiars with the amalgamism skills, but it seems to be throwing a little bit of a wrench in the ease of utilizing and converting familiars. Since familiars have been dropped inside of the game, they've been clunky and heavily relating to or heavily relying on RNG. It looks like this is another RNG element added into it and potentially even getting a little bit more clunky again. Now, they do go into some of the skills and things, and as you can see, we got a, oh, that's a skitterite. You can see that the overview, the flame amalgam spewed ichor now combusts, leaving a field of flame to scorch enemies. So as you can see, there's another skill on top of those. And we have all of the skills for our familiars listed right here. So for an example, because I don't want to go through all of them, we'll go with the, we'll go with the Valrog. Thunderous Algam, normal active skill, targets an enemy dealing 38% of character damage for 0.5 seconds to enemies within 2 meters for 3 seconds, cooldowns 20 seconds. Now, the Algam active skill, this is different from the normal, targets an enemy dealing lightning damage every 0.5 seconds and conducting up to 3 enemies. Cooldown is 12 seconds. I'll slowly go through these so you can take a look at all of them. Pause if you want for the familiar that you're either currently rocking or one that you're trying to get yourself into. We're going to have to see and test these out to see if it's really worth the time to invest into really upping your familiar to the next level. From reading these right now, they don't seem like they are crazy stronger, except for you can see the cooldowns are different on all of them as well. We're getting less of a cooldown. So obviously there's going to be an improvement with the familiar, but is it enough of an improvement? So here's two of people's favorites right here, the Ash Sweeper and the Dusk Prowler. The normal Ash Sweeper skill, which is what I currently use, normal active skill triggers a rain of stone on enemies within a 4-meter range in front, dealing 150% character damage and marking an enemy. Marked enemies damage reduced 24% for 3 seconds, and the cooldown is 20 seconds. Now, if we take a look at the Amalgam skill, rains down a gem shower on enemies within a 4-meter range in front and inflicts a weaken effect, and the cooldown is still 20 seconds. The Dusk Prowler or the Frost Algam, norm of active skill, receive a layer of spirit. So it looks like these are actually two skills from, so you have the Algam and you have the Ash Sweeper, the Dusk Prowler and the Frost Algam. This right here, 20-second cooldown, 20-second cooldown on both. This is not something that we Diablo creators and part of the Diablo program were explained to yet in detail outside of what we're reading here in the patch notes. Plus, we weren't able to test these out, unfortunately. So we're going to have to test it out live and see, give our opinions if it's something that's worth doing after we get our hands on it. But for now, at least we have the details right here. Now we have some of the events that are going to be dropping back inside of the game. You'll have until November 12th local server time to barrel your way through the returning events. So basically, a lot of these have already happened, potentially. Yeah, we have October 22nd, Conqueror is going on till the 29th. Fractured Plane, the 29th through the 5th of November. Wild Brawl, the 5th through the 11th. You get all of these types of rewards. I like to see legendary items, Telluric Pearls. What else do we have here? Legendary Gems. All right, no problem with any of that. Now we have the Eternal Embrace Phantom Market. I talked about in a previous video how these kind of looked like two of the characters from Raid Shadow Legends, and it was actually brought up from a comment of someone, and it actually is quite true. What we're looking at right here is a Crusader, and this is a, what is this right here? What is that? The Druid. And I believe we have the Tempest over here. Yes, that's a Tempest down there. So it's a pretty cool, like you're basically this ghost, this dead character, which as you guys know, I really do like. This Phantom Market looks quite promising to me. With that said, it still is going to hold the $170 price tag. It will be cross-class and come with a bunch of other cosmetics as well, but it's definitely not a $5 cosmetic like you can get from the Battle Pass. And of course, this wouldn't be patch notes or a big update without new legendary items, or we're talking about new essences for all of our characters. So in the effort to save all of you a little time, I'll go through each one individually, pausing so you could also pause the video and take a look at the essence changes, or the new essences, I should say, for the particular class that you're interested in. Starting with the Wizard right here, which is the class I'm currently playing. Then we have the Barbarian, the Blood Knight, the Crusader, the Demon Hunter, the Druid, the Monk, the Necromancer, and the Tempest. Those are all of the new essences. Hopefully you took the time to read through the ones that were important enough for you. Now, of course, we do have balance changes as well to all of these classes, or at least most of them. I'm going to go through these actually individually throughout this video right now. So for the Demon Hunter, Nimble Rival, Daring Swing, animation speeds increased by 29%. So it's just going to look a little bit quicker. The Druid, Raven Swarm, the number of ravens conjured via attacks no longer has an internal cooldown per attack. Instead, you can conjure 3 ravens per skill and 1 raven for primary attack. But you'll be limited to conjuring up to 7 ravens per second. The blind effect has been removed. Then we have the Mangle Werebear. If one of the attacks in the Mangle sequence hits, you now gain a 60% damage reduction for the remainder of the attack sequence. We have Crush from Werebear. You now gain control and knockback immunity for 2 seconds when you activate Crush. All right. Next up, we have the Monk. Cyclone Strike damage is increased by 24%. Baseline Inner Sanctuary added a new effect where standing in your Inner Sanctuary reduces critical hit damage taken by 10%, stacking per second you remain in the area up to 40%. We have the Necromancer, 10 Thorn Corpse Lance. Lances now apply stacking marks that cause the enemy to take an additional 100% base damage upon reaching 3 stacks. We have 2 more. The Tempest, Rolling Surf, primary attack animation speed is now 28% faster, and 2 for the Wizard, Searing Judgment, Disintegrate, damage is increased by 20%. And Ice Crystal baseline, Refracted Beam damage is increased by 21%. Are they trying to bring the Ice Crystal Disintegrate meta back for the Wizard? Now, I did mention legendary item blessings. This is giving us the ability to get more legendary items, or really to get more essences unlocked or better pieces of gear. Let's read through it because I think this is important to a lot of players. In the effort to make it easier to earn legendary items, you'll now have 1 hour daily blessing where you'll be able to activate your item drops, essences, or items from other classes. You can activate or pause the blessing at will throughout the week using your hour precisely when you want. Once activated, the blessing affects all legendary item drops from monsters. Items that drop from chests, limited time events, or non-combat rewards are not affected. So unfortunately, this is not going to be something that drops out of when you turn in bounties, when you turn in monstrous essence. If you take down a big boss and you get rewards from the chest, you're only going to get it from monster drops, so actually killing those monsters. We have 3 blessings that you can select. A rarity blessing grants a higher chance to drop higher tier legendary items. An essence blessing increases the chance to drop items with legendary affixes that you don't currently have. And class blessing, chance to drop legendary items from other classes, helping you gain items to prepare for future class swaps. I like that you could select these. I personally would not be doing the class blessing, and most likely, unless if the essences are ones that I'm trying to unlock that I need for a build, I'd probably be going for rarity blessing to try and give me those stronger pieces of gear if I'm trying to upgrade, as we essentially have the essence we need, but we want the stronger gear. Unfortunately, this is only going to happen from, the non-combat rewards. we're not going to get it unless if we're actually in combat with a monster. So that's going to greatly negate the number of these that are going to actually be impacted, or at least the number of legendary pieces of gear that'll be impacted from this legendary blessing. Now let's get into some updates that we mentioned regarding Battlegrounds, and this is a boundary protection. To prevent players from using certain skills to escape the map or enter enemy spawn areas, we've added a new boundary protection system. A whole new system, huh? If you enter an enemy spawn area or move into an out of bounds zone, you'll be pulled back into the nearest location and lose 55% of your maximum health. If you cross into one of these zones twice, you'll die and respawn at your base. Wow. Post-matchmaking survey. To better understand what your feelings are on Battlegrounds, we'll include a post-match survey for Battlegrounds. You'll be able to rate how the match went, which will help for future improvements towards balancing and matchmaking. Now, I do know that Blizzard was in talks with some big Battlegrounds people. A lot of feedback was being given regarding changes that they felt needed to come to the game, and I'm wondering if this is one that was mentioned in those conversations. Now, Blessed Rain changes. If you use a server transfer while a Blessed Rain is active, you'll need to wait until the next Blessed Rain to earn progress toward the Shadow Cloak. Okay? And notification changes. They've rearranged the categorization of some notifications between what can be marked as read in the batch function tab versus 1x1 tab. So just could either put it in one tab or the other. Not a big deal. Then they have Blessed Hunter event updates. This is to get that blessed green gear. The Blessed Hunter event is being extended until December 17th, and we've increased the rate at which players will find blessed items in dungeons. They seem to be making it easier for us, or at least trying to make it easier for us to get these green items, which is definitely a positive thing. So what's your guys' favorite part of this update? Is the new legendary skills, or we should call them amalgamated skills for familiars? Is it the Phantom Market cosmetics that are going to be dropping that I think are cool? Maybe some of the new legendary items for your class. I feel like you guys may like that one. Legendary item blessings, or maybe even some of the updates that we talked about regarding Battlegrounds. Either way, all of these are going to be dropping on the 29th this week in just a few days. Get yourselves ready, guys. Prepare for the update. Hope you guys enjoy the video. See you in the next one. Make sure you let me know in the comments which of the changes is your favorite. Have a great day, guys. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Yesterday I had details of the update that will be dropping tomorrow, and part of that update includes new legendary items for all classes. In yesterday's video, I did not spend extensive amounts of time on each of these, but today I want to break down and tell you all of the essences coming for all of the classes inside of the game. Now, if some of you don't know, I put out Diablo Immortal videos every single day. I absolutely love the game. I've been playing it for over 3 years, and if you enjoy it as I do, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the information, news, breakdowns, builds, and everything related to Diablo Immortal every day. So let's go through these one at a time, starting with our Barbarian. Deafening Shroud, the head. Ground Stomp also grants you a shield for 3 seconds that absorbs damage. Cannot gain a shield this way more often than once every 3 seconds. That's still a lot of shielding. We have Giant's Wake legs. Ground Stomp now conjures an ancestor to stomp for you, damaging enemies and knocking them airborne. If the enemy is already affected by knockback, that effect is increased and additional damage is dealt, so not ignored. Howling Fury, the offhand weapon. Hammer of the Ancients now drops a giant hammer at your location, damaging all nearby enemies. Enemies affected by knockback are immediately forced to the ground, dealt additional damage, and stunned. We have Oath Crusher, the main hand weapon. Hammer of the Ancients also causes enemies to deal 10% reduced damage for 3 seconds. Thundering Heart for the chest. Sunder also increases your attack speed by 5% for 2 seconds when hitting an enemy, up to a maximum of 20%. Tremors of War, shoulders. Sunder is now channeled, causing you to continuously jump forward, slamming the ground to damage nearby enemies, knocking them airborne, and shatter their armor. Hitting an enemy restores energy and reduces damage taken. So Hammer of the Ancients, Ground Stomp, and Sunder are all getting new essences from the Barbarian. Now the Blood Knight, maybe one of the lesser popular, lesser strong meta characters right now. Let's see if these essences are going to change that. 5 Finger Spear for the main hand. Whirling Strike now empowers you, causing each primary attack to launch an arc of blood that damages enemies and makes them bleed. Critical hits will cause arcs of blood to spin and damage all nearby enemies. Elegy of the Heart, the offhand weapon. Revenge has a 15% chance on hit to conjure a shadow that also attacks with revenge. Guilt Extravagance Chest. Whirling Strike also shatters enemy armor, increasing the damage they take from you by 5% for 2 seconds, up to a maximum of 15%. Barbed Thrusts Legs. Spear Fury now causes you to dash, dealing damage to enemies along your path and applying a mark that triggers life drain when a marked enemy is damaged. Cooldown is refreshed if the dash hits a bleeding enemy. Alright? We have Blood-Soaked Hood, headpiece. Mythic Cloud now releases a cloud that increases your movement speed, attack speed, and damage each time you inflict bleed. And Detached Reality Shoulders. Mythic Cloud also increases your evasion rating by 12% while standing within it. Alright, so Mythic Cloud, Whirling Strike, Spear Fury seem to be getting a little bit of a buff here, or at least some, maybe not a buff, but some new abilities. And we have the Crusader, and this one comes along with a developer's note. Let's go through them. Death Chime Shoulders. Sacred Chain no longer attacks enemies, and instead links you and your nearby allies, causing some of the damage they take to transfer to you. Wow, nice support right there from Sacred Chain. Okay, Defend the Downtrodden Chest. Conjuration of Light now conjures a large barrier of light that makes allies directly behind the barrier immune to any damage from enemies in front of the barrier. We have Journey of the Faithful Legs. Shield Charge now charges to a location, damaging and knocking back enemies along your path and granting your damage reduction. If allies are along your path, both you and your allies are granted increased damage reduction. Developer's note, this item will also provide an immunity to knock back a total loss of control during the dash, but the tooltip text will be missing this. The tooltip will be updated in the future patch to reflect it. So they're giving us a note. It's not going to say that, but it is also going to have that ability with it as well. We have Loretta's Banner offhand. Holy Banner also increases your and your allies' damage for 4%. Each ally within the banner up to 16%. Soul Purge main hand. Punish also shatters enemy armor, increasing their damage taken by 4% for 1.5 seconds, up to a maximum of 12%. And Under Light's Gleam Head. Holy Banner now grants increased critical hit chance to nearby allies and damage reduction to you. Both effects increasing when more allies are present. So it looks like our Crusader is really getting some nice buffs to party related, Heliquary boss fighting and stuff like that. Looks good for people that are looking to build up more of a support class. The Demon Hunter, Blood of the Sovereign Head. Vengeance also causes you to deal more damage to enemies the farther they are from you, up to a maximum of 16% increase. I like that because it's going to allow you to, keep your range as the Demon Hunter. The Burden Self Shoulders. Multi-shot damage is increased by 3% per yard you are from an enemy, up to a maximum of 24%. Again, a ranged buff. Cannonade Offhand. Knockback shot is increased by 3% per yard you are from an enemy, up to a maximum of 24%. I can see this paired with something like a Bloody Reach and really getting some good damage from it. We have Cast of the Shackle's Legs. When Vengeance deals damage, enemies more than 5 yards from you are dealt additional damage can occur more than every 0.7 seconds to the same enemy. No Angel's Main Hand. Multi-shot now empowers you, during which each skill used will additionally fire a salvo of arrows that damage enemies. The first one that doesn't have to do with range. An Unfiltered Rage Chest. Vengeance now fires a piercing shot and roots you in a place for its duration, and can be used again to aim and fire pierce shots that damage, knock back, and slow enemies. So I think the Demon Hunter's been in need of some new play style, maybe a little bit of a new buff for a while now, and this, focusing on the range, I think could be fun for the class. The Druid, probably the class that needs the most new essences because it's the newest class with the least amount of essences. Blood and Mud, main hand. Rabid Might also increases your and your allies' critical hit chance for 8% for 2 seconds. Children of Ferocity, shoulders. Circle of Life also increases your and your allies' primary attack speed by 10% for 5 seconds. Closed Fist to Open Heart, chest. Circle of Life now creates an area that follows you, granting increased damage to you and your nearby allies, again for support. Forevermore Mow, head. Oak Sage also triggers an explosion every 3 attacks, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies. Growth Spurt, legs. Rabid Might now targets you or ally, increasing maximum life while also damaging nearby enemies and knocking them airborne. If an ally is targeted, it also casts on you. And Humble Beginnings, the offhand, Summon Oak Sage now targets you or allies to summon Oak Sages that follow, automatically attacking whatever a primary attack is used. If an ally is targeted, both of you gain Oak Sage summons. Summon Oak Sage is one of my favorite skills of the Druid, which is funny because you would think it would be like transforming to a werewolf or a bear. But I think that that's a really solid one, and I like that it's got an attachment here to the primary attack as well. The Monk. The Dismal Traveler, shoulders. Mystic Strike also causes your next primary attack within 3 seconds to trigger a lightning explosion, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies and inflicting shock for 2 seconds. The lightning explosion can only be triggered once every 0.3 seconds. Extinction Stroke, offhand. Fists of Thunder also applies a lightning mark for 3 seconds when it hits an enemy. Damaging a marked enemy 3 times will consume the mark and cause them to take additional lightning damage, increasing your movement speed by 40% and granting immunity to loss of control and knockback effects for 1 second. Can apply a lightning mark to the same enemy more than once every 6 seconds. Fighting Revere, head. Shield of Zen also increases your primary attack damage by 15%. Storm's Prelude, main hand. When the first strike of Fist of Thunder hits, primary attack damage is increased by 50% for 1 second. Can occur more than once every 6 seconds though. Worm Yoke, chest. Flying Dragon now empowers you, causing your next few damaging primary attacks to conjure thunder worms that seek out enemies to deal additional lightning damage. So as you can see, everything very focused on lightning here for the Monk. And Weaving Edgeway's legs. Mystic Strike now causes you untargetable, now makes you untargetable as you dash forward, empowering your next primary attack that hits an enemy to conjure 2 spirits that also attack that enemy. I actually really like Weaving Legs right there. I also like all the lightning being used here. I'm wondering if it's going to be partnered with the new green items that really focus on lightning as well. Maybe some exciting builds for the Monk coming soon. The Necromancer, Spectre of Wrath, main hand. Borrowed Time now empowers you or an ally, significantly increasing damage dealt, but also increasing damage taken. If life is reduced to 0 while empowered, immediately heal to full life, but gain a curse that continuously drains life until dead. Killing an enemy player removes the curse. I never did love that, but I do like that you can be revived. Constricted Breath. Chest plate. Bone Spirits also reduces enemy attack and movement speed by 15% for 3 seconds when it deals damage. Stolen Vigor, shoulders. While Borrowed Time is active, killing an enemy will heal 10% of your maximum life and increase your movement speed by 20% for 3 seconds. I know that Borrowed Time is a skill that's used a lot in PvP. It's just not one that I ever loved, to be honest. Maybe I'm in the minority there. Wailing March, legs. Wrath form now transform you into an untargetable wrath that dashes forward, damaging enemies in your path. Withering Gaze, head. While Borrowed Time is active, enemies that damage you will be marked for vengeance, increasing the damage you deal to them by 20% for 3 seconds. And Wraith Vexed, offhand. Bone Spirits now causes you to teleport to a target location after a casting delay, conjuring a swarm of spirits when you arrive that continuously damage nearby enemies. The Tempest, first of many, main hand. Wave Edge knocks an enemy airborne every 3 hits, can occur to the same player more often than once every 4 seconds. Flow and Frenzy, chest. Tidal Rush also increases your primary attack speed by 20% for 2 seconds. Hollow Flurry Shoulders. Storm Fury now empowers you and your Zephyrs, during which primary attacks stack wind marks when dealing damage. Marked enemies will take additional damage after multiple stacks. Unstable Appetite Offhand. Wave Edge increases your primary attack speed by 5% for 3 seconds when it deals damage, up to a maximum of 15%. Killer Mirage Legs. Tidal Rush now conjures several Zephyrs around you. And Occupational Hazard Head. Tidal Rush also increases you and your Zephyr's primary attack damage by 15% for 2 seconds. And finally, the Wizard, the class that I'm currently playing. Crackling Compiler Main Hand. After using a skill, your next Electrocute cast within 2 seconds will trigger an electric explosion, dealing additional damage to nearby enemies. Can't trigger more often every 1 second. Strange Conjure Offhand. Black Hole now empowers you, during which dash skills will launch a small black hole at the nearest enemy that detonates, damaging all nearby enemies and pulling them in. Crash Rider Chestplate. Lightning Nova now causes you to dash forward in a ball of lightning, damaging enemies along the path and inflicting shock. We have Traps of Woe Legs. You deal 5% increased damage for 2 seconds to enemies hit by Disintegrate, up to a maximum of 15%. Microcosm Hood Headpiece. You deal 5% increased damage for 2 seconds to enemies hit by Black Hole, up to a maximum of 15%. And Witherlurch Shoulders. Disintegrate now empowers you, during which dash skills create a lightning rift in your wake that continuously damages enemies. My question to all of you is, what essences did you see on the list today from all of these classes that you think are game changing? I know that it's always an exciting time when new essences come to the game. People get to rebuild things, re-spark their vigor for diving into the open world to find new essences and unlock everything inside of the game and to put new builds together. Can't wait to see what these essences bring to all the different builds. We'll feature a bunch of them here in the channel. Hope you guys have a great day. Let me know your thoughts on the essences in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. The new update just landed inside of Diablo Immortal this morning. What I'm going to do inside of this video is take a look at that. I also want to go on over and check out something that was said over in the forums, as well as some community questions. All of that inside of this video today. Also, guys, a little bit of a reminder to activate your blessings right over here. I'll show you in just a moment, but you have the ability to activate whether you want high quality equipment, a new essence, or alternative class equipment. I would say a time like now is a time for new essences, because yes, the new essences have dropped inside of the game. If you're wondering where to find that, it's right over here next to my camera. You click on this icon and you could activate your blessings. Remember, you have 1 hour of activation per day. And as I mentioned, new essences are probably going to be the jam for you right now. If we come on over, you will notice that when you go to the essence transfer, few things have happened. First of all of your loyalty points have now made their way over to being legacy points, and there are new essences for every class, but at least 1 new for each gear slot for all classes. So guys, the hunt is on. Hopefully you guys can find those new essences to test them out really soon. And of course, if you're really hungry for them, you can use your legendary gear chests, or you can use your mystery legendary items if you want to. I would suggest against that until you're in the next Inferno difficulty, which is actually quite soon, so that you don't really waste any of those items to unlock just the essence and not actually get, you know, a piece of gear that you'll be able to wear long term. Of course, you could also go to the shop and you could gamble on some mystery weapons and mystery primary armor as well to try and unlock some new essences. Also, guys, remember the new familiar changes have dropped inside of the game now as well, giving you the ability to get better legendary skills essentially on it. It's something that I have not yet messed around with, but I probably will as time goes on. Yes, familiars did get a tad bit more complicated again. Now, I want to take a look at a message that came to me from Tactics yesterday. I'm going to briefly summarize what he's talking about here, and this is something that many people have mentioned in game. It's a suggestion to better the game for people that struggle in one way or the other. And this way is about accessibility for those with visual impairments. Now, it's also worth noting, guys, that video games can't be created specifically for people that have some type of a disability, whether it be a visual or a physical one, right? The game needs to be made for the majority of players, and unfortunately, sometimes there are outliers, people that have visual impairments or people that have physical impairments. But it's really great when some changes are able to be implemented into the games to kind of help out those players as well. I will say, I do not believe, and I don't think that it needs to happen, that games are being created or developed initially with the thought, oh, I want this to be really great for people with a visual impairment or with a physical impairment. But those are modifications that can come to the game as time goes on. And here are some examples right here where this person would like to see some changes. For example, AoE damage indicators often have low contrast and can be nearly invisible to players with color and vision issues, so looking for a little bit of a different contrast. He says in tower PvP, hard to tell which team holds the tower. Color-based markers aren't always clear for colorblind people. In parts of the main story quest, some visually impaired players struggle to complete objectives because danger zones on the ground blend into the environment, and the minimap color scheme, light gray or dark gray, can always appear a single gray surface, making navigation difficult. So what he's suggesting here is that there's some different distinctive things so that players with visual colorblind, specifically impairments, can enjoy the game the way that everyone else does. The question is, what do you guys think? For the small percentage of players that have these types of issues, do you think a developer should spend the time and resources to fix or make a better experience for these players, or do you think it should go ignored? It's always nice when thought can go into it, but also I understand specifically with some smaller development teams, not that this is Blizzard, it's not possible. Going back inside of the game really quickly, there is a new event that dropped over here. If we take a look, it's Fractured Plane is returned back to the game. If you guys want to dive into that, you can get more quests completed for your Moonchild ceremony. But also we have the new Phantom Market, and I do have to say, I may be giving a deeper feature of this tomorrow, not 100% sure yet, but I have to say, just looking at the wizard right here, and yeah, I am a wizard now, I know. I think this thing is freaking awesome looking. Like, look at the secondary. The orb right here is literally his wife's head. That looks incredible. And if we take a look through some of these other ones, yep, Barbarian looks cool, always does. What do we have here? Demon Hunter looks great. I actually like the female version. Freaking awesome. We have the Necromancer. Honestly, this is probably one of my favorite cosmetics we've had in a long time. This one just stands out as really good to me. We got the Druid right here looking so fresh. Another Demon Hunter, another Necro. What do we have here? Is this another Necro? That looks like a Crusader. I don't know. It looks really nice. They did a good job, but at the end of the day, I honestly think this wizard with the floating head is the best one. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with me on that. And if you remember from the patch notes that we went over in the previous update video, yesterday I went through all of the new essences, and the day before I went through the update in full, which featured all of the balance changes that came to a bunch of the classes. We're not going to go into depth about that right now, but it is worth noting that those balance changes have taken place. Now, Meteor Blade was over here on the forum and put together a nice post that I wanted to feature because I think it gives you guys some really good information regarding salvaging ancient legendary helmets. So let's go through this really quickly in case you're someone that is trying to do this and is looking to get the benefit out of it because Meteor Blade does a good job. If you attempt to salvage an ancient legendary helm, they will turn into ancient scraps. You can see right here, 30 of those scrap. You can also exchange ancient artifacts for ancient scraps in the blacksmithing materials NPC, as you can see right here. When you attempt to enchant an ancient helmet, basically trying to get the different enchantments on it, it costs you a bunch of these resources that you see right here. Instead of using instead of the usual materials, you can use 8 ancient scraps instead. So instead of the items that you need right here, you can use the scrap instead and use that to actually enchant the gear, saving the gold, the dust, and the legendary essence charms as well. You can use dust that's essentially just going to be wasted, and you can get that enchantment, which I think is actually Huge. Meteor Blade, thanks again for another great forum post. Now let's do a feature or two from the community in the comments, and this one is from SJ March 13. This is a cool one. He says, honestly, I have to thank you. A few months back ago, you started a channel talking about how you started YouTube. I've been making content and helping other people learning the ropes. I don't make for myself, but it's a huge start. Thank you, Echo. You're the best. If you don't know what he's talking about, let me show you. It was a little side passion project. So if you guys know, I have an Ethereum Restart channel. This was a sponsored channel, right? I got sponsored to make videos for Ethereum Restart. That sponsorship, as of a few weeks ago, has ended. But previously, before that, the channel was actually a channel where I focused on just jumping in my car, going to the gym, and talking about things. As you can see, some of these videos are, well, they're all still here, but I privated them as I turned it into a sponsored channel. But now that it's not sponsored, I'm wondering I may start doing this again. I would essentially jump in the car, talk about whatever was going on in life at that point in time. Talked about losing my job, talked about all these different things, and it seems that some people actually took value in that. The channel never got big, it never did great. I never even did thumbnails. I did one thumbnail right there, but it never really put much effort except for me just kind of talking about stuff. And it was a lot of fun to do, and I'm glad that it was able to help out somebody. We'll see if I do this again. The channel right now is called Echo Ethereum Restart, but it was called Echo Talk. We'll see what happens in the future. And more regarding the update, we have my guy named Gru saying, also a member of the channel for an extended period of time, over a year. Thank you so much for the support, brother. He says, my favorite change is the end of spawn camping. Remember, they made those changes to Battlegrounds where you were not able to spawn camp anymore. It'll make the Rite of Exile a better experience. Pet thing looks like more RNG garbage. I don't know about garbage, but definitely more RNG. And Jason Miller comes through with this comment, which I thought was actually really funny. He says, how come every Immortal update is better than D4 updates? I've been D4 for a while, and I think Immortal is getting better through the years, and I would have to agree. Not saying anything bad about Diablo 4. I don't frequent the game. I touch in every now and then. But Diablo Immortal definitely is getting better with age, as do many mobile games. Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, all three of those highly successful games got better with time, and I think Diablo Immortal is doing the same. So, dive on into the update, get yourself rolling. I got a bunch of grinding to do myself today. I'm excited to try and see the odds when I jump in and use my active blessings to try and get some of these new essences. We have a bunch to collect for the wizard. Let me know what class you're playing, what essences you're trying to collect, and if you like the update overall. Guys, have a great day. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Today I want to go into the game and show you a few new things that dropped. I want to talk about some discussion topics from yesterday that need some clarification, and I want to take a deeper look at the Phantom Market cosmetic. Starting off, we do have Survivor's Bane, which entered back inside of the game today. Make sure you get yourself on through. Take advantage of all the rewards, because this time around, it is actually in the events tab, and you could earn battle points and all of that. The way I typically enjoy my events, it allows me to progress my battle pass more effectively, get a little bit more rewards versus it being part of one of the other events. As you can see right here, the Moon Children's Ceremony is where the Survivor's Bane is typically housed, but right now Fractured Plane is inside of there, so Survivor's Bane got its own feature over here in the events. So I'm happy about that, being someone that really does love playing Survivor's Bane. I'll be playing through this first thing today. Now, with 20 days left in the Battle Pass, I'm really not focusing too hard on trying to progress it. I'm just saving my points all over here, so that progress will happen whenever I do decide to get that claimed. All I'm claiming right now are the quests throughout the day, and I'm basically keeping all of the activities to myself. Now, I gave a little bit of a sneak peek to some of the comments right here, and we do have one coming in from Liquil1603 saying the new costume is perfect costume 4 necros, and I'm thinking of finally spending. And this tells us one thing, that players that may have never spent inside of the game before may run into a cosmetic that they absolutely fall in love with and feel just that need, that want, that desire to purchase that cosmetic, which is where the phantom market cosmetics fall into place. And this is the reason why, in my opinion, cosmetics as far as monetization goes is a very positive thing, because it doesn't affect gameplay in any way, and people do feel inclined to purchase and support the game because they love the way that it looks. And Krakendoc also is a fan of the cosmetic, and apparently he made a video with his druid cosmetic, and he noted that the druid has the wife on top of the staff, which is something I didn't notice. I love how the wizard is holding the wife's head, or it's floating above his hand, and it looks like the druid has a little bit of that element as well. And honestly, overall, I've been seeing comments all over the place that people are in love with this cosmetic. And as I mentioned inside of this video, I will be completely unlocking this cosmetic for myself. And check this out, this is actually really funny. Inside of the game, it shows me Krakendoc in his account, and as you can see on the top of the staff, you do have the wife on the druid class. I personally like the floating head better than the whole wife image on top of the staff. I think that this head looks a lot better, but either way, overall, this cosmetic is an absolute win. Now, if you recall in yesterday's video, we had a brief discussion on activating blessings. First of all, I did this yesterday. When you activate blessings, you do activate all of them at once. In my opinion, initially, being that we have new essences, the most important thing and the most valuable thing here are the new essences and getting them unlocked more quickly, then the high quality equipment, and then if you're someone that likes to class change a lot, an alternative classes equipment as well. For me, I don't care about that one as much for some reason, although I do class change often enough. But we have this forum post actually here saying this is from Necromama, saying, I've already unlocked all essences for my difficulty, so right from the start, one of the blessings is useless to me, saying that the new essence is just not worth any value. In 10 minutes, I've used it. I've received 3 underpowered Legos and no benefit at all. What would be better is a blessing that provides the next highest tier of gear drops per combat rating, sort of like a pre-farm. That way we could at least see the blessings working. Well, that's actually not a bad idea. We may not be able to equip the gear yet, but we have an incentive to grind on. The blessing is for those who are behind the curve. It helps them keep up. It doesn't do anything for players at gear cap. And there's actually some truth to that, to be honest. This is definitely something that's going to help a lot of players that are below level get themselves up to level. 100% it's going to be valuable to them. It'll also be valuable, or should be valuable, to people that have not yet unlocked new essences. This is another way of doing it. In addition to saving your mystery items and saving all of those chests and all of that, this is another way to get the new essences. With this said, I did activate my 1-hour blessing yesterday, and I did not receive any new essences, and I did not receive any new high quality gear either. So, just saying, it didn't do anything great for me. Not saying that it didn't do more great things for others. There was another question here as well regarding this, and this is Mr. Merchant saying, I love your content. I'm here every day watching and learning, which very much I appreciate. Thank you. And he says thank you. So wondering about something, maybe you got the answer. Where should we, your fans, be using our 1-hour blessing? Cheers, bud. And then he said that I said for essences. And then actually James comes through and clarifies saying all 3 are activated, which is absolutely true when you use the 1 hour. The essences for your class will occur before the essences for other classes. Once you have all essences for your class, the game will drop essences for the class you choose within the event, which is actually really great information to know. So when you claim all of the new essences utilizing the activated blessings, then it'll start getting blessings, or I'm sorry, essences for the class that you choose as your alternate class. And if you didn't know how to change that, you come right up here, click on this, and you could change what class you want to switch the alternate essences to. I have it as the Barbarian because the Barbarian is my long lost favorite, and that's where we sit. But it is time that we take a deeper look at the Eternal Embrace set Phantom Market. Remember, this is approximately a $170 cosmetic, and it comes across all classes. It also unlocks different cosmetics that are not cross-class for the class that you're currently wearing. You also can get additional portals and other items like that that are also bound to your class. I need to thank Blizzard for sponsoring the video by giving me the obols to actually do this pull. As you can see, we have them right up here, provided by Blizzard. If you want to take a look at odds and you're wondering what are the chances, it actually tells you what it costs and then what the odds are of getting what you may be looking for. So as you can see, the emote, I have a 60% chance to pull that emote on my first pull. And if I actually want the Eternal Embrace set, it's a 0.13% chance. The Eternal Embrace portal, a 3% chance, yada, yada, yada. You guys can see how that looks. But let's start this out and start with our first draw. What are we going to grab? Are we going to get lucky? Actually, see, we went and got ourselves the Last Lightkeeper's Crimson Weapon to start things out. Let's draw our second draw. Also, let me know in the comments section below if you happen to unlock the main cosmetic, this Eternal Embrace cosmetic, on your first draw. Really love hearing when people get lucky and have those nice pulls. Last Lightkeeper's Cyan Armor. Not bad. Not that I love the armor, but I think it's really cool when we unlock some of the better cosmetics versus some of these other items like emotes, etc. as we go. Notice I'm also unlocking right now things along this side. We just unlocked the portal, which I'll probably never use, but we unlocked the portal for the wizard class. Let's do another draw right here. And we got ourselves the Last Lightkeeper's Cyan Weapon to match that cosmetic. Another draw, 550 of those obols. Last Lightkeeper's Crimson Armor. So it's basically a green version, and then we have a red version. This cosmetic here is basically a modified version of a Battle Pass cosmetic from not so long ago. Let's see if that's what we get next. We'll probably get the weapon for it next. And we did. Gilded Antiquity Burnt Orange Weapon. There we go. Now we'll probably get the cosmetic. Oh no, we actually got the Eternal Embrace portal, which I will demonstrate for you in just a little bit, which good odds for us right there. Another draw. We got the ultimate unlocked. You'll see what this actually looks like. Oh, you see how that face pops up on the screen? I actually really like that a lot. Check it out. Boom. The wife's face or the man's face just jumping out at you. Now we have this Gilded Antiquity, Burnt Orange, and the final cosmetic we should get right here. We get the background as well for 30 days. We unlocked the frame with that as well. That's the background we're talking about right there. And we also got the haunted visual effects, which are basically ghostly auras spinning around you. And we have unlocked the cosmetic. I have to say, this cosmetic, it didn't have a little trailer that came along with it, did it? I don't believe it did. Now let's take a look at these other few items that we got for the additional draw rewards. We got ourselves an emote, a zombified guy. We have this one right here, which doesn't look like a happy blood knight, and another portal, which is actually really nice, the Lightkeeper's Cyan portal. I like the look of this portal, not too bad. So now we are on the cosmetics screen. Let's actually click right here and equip all three. That means I have, oh man, that's pretty cool. We have the portal equipped, we have the weapon equipped, and we have the actual cosmetic. Can we remove the head? We can't hide the helmet on this one. And the back accessory, can we hide the back accessory? Can't really see what that is, the back accessory. Oh wait, is that the, is that actually the guys behind us? No, it's not. Okay, we also have unlocked some things over here. The ultimate, we have the visual effects, and the background that we can use now for a few days as well, which I think looks really nice. Let me demonstrate the portal for you. Going into the portal, you have the blood coming up. It's not as large as some of the other portals we've seen in the past, but it is a nice looking one. I like the blood that's there on the ground. Let's do one more time. Let's do it going straight up into it right there, and we'll find ourselves a place to teleport. Here we go, straight up into the portal. Pretty cool looking, man. I'm a fan of this cosmetic. I like dark, you know, evil looking things, and we definitely do get that with this ghostly looking cosmetic at the end of the day. But there's one more comment I want to touch on before we sum up the video for the day. And the comment is from Stefan and Anderson saying, yes, of course, a game should be made accessible. He's talking about when we discussed the different colors and things inside of the game for people with some type of vision issues. He said making a game accessible helps everyone, not just a minority of players. You might find yourself in a situation when adjusting the font size or additional visual indicators makes it easier to play. Totally agree. Whether you need these settings permanently or temporarily. I'm sorry, but saying you don't need accessibility settings is a bad take. I did not say, and if I did, I didn't mean that we don't need accessibility settings or they're not important. I think that it's not, when a developer is creating a game, it's not the first thing that they're thinking of. They want to develop the game first, give a good game experience for majority of players, and then implement those types of things that are going to make it even better experience for a broader group of players. It's always easier to implement accessibility from the start rather than after the game is finished. Maybe true. Again, I'm not a game developer and I don't know anything about how that all takes place. If we're talking about font size, sure. Adding the ability to add font size in there and stuff like that as you're developing a game, 100%. But if we're looking at visual effects things and things that are maybe needed over time, they could totally be implemented. Why wouldn't you want to ensure your game be played by as many people as possible? And I agree with Stefan right here that it should be played by as many as possible. But when you're doing any type of a project, gaming or not, I feel like you need to, or most companies would, go to the masses first and then fix things or adjust things or add things so that it is basically available for everyone. At the end of the day, I want everyone on this planet to be able to play Diablo Immortal, no matter what their ability, disability, or whatever they are dealing with. So I wanted to just bring this one up again, just to clarify. And let's jump into this really quickly. When we take a look at the cosmetic, doesn't that look familiar? When that cosmetic, there's another one that does the same thing. Let me see where it is. Is it right here? Yeah, it's right there. Very similar, right? That and this. Looks like it used the same animation because they don't. Oh, this one does the same thing too. Wait, do they all do the same thing? They don't all do. Well, they don't, because then this one here has a different one. I guess a lot of them do the same thing. Either way, I love the cosmetic. Let me know if you got it on your free draw or if you decide to spend on it yourself. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy the game. Get grinding. It's Survivor's Bane Day. Welcome back to another Diablo Immortal video. Happy Halloween. I hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look at what's going on inside of the game new for Halloween. A couple of comments from the forums. I want to dive into some Survivor's Bane while discussing some comments that came through from the community. Let's start out here with this comment that came over from the forum. And in my opinion, it is always a discussion as to what class is too strong, what needs a nerf. It gets tiresome over time and it just rotates between the different classes. Essentially, the way that I look at this is if you think a class is too powerful, just play as that class or wait for your turn for your class to be one of the more powerful ones again. I do understand and appreciate people sharing opinions based on balance changes and adjustments maybe needed inside of the game. But at the end of the day, the Necro is too powerful, and this is saying there's no justification for a character to be invincible while simultaneously allowing their summoned creatures to attack players. Logically, a Necromancer should be granted invincibility while their summons are able to attack players. This is unfair. And then Vander answers, remember how annoying PvPing against Necros were in D2. They teleport once and completely covered in the summons, but there was always a counter. In Diablo Immortal, you just gotta find the counter. And then we have one more response here saying, well, boo-hoo. As a Necro player, I can tell you a few things. Now, I like this because it's coming from someone that plays the Necromancer. Number one, the minions do rather mediocre damage, have negative influence, and are fragile as hell. Wraith form, which grants temporary damage immunity, has rather atrocious cooldown. Maybe learn to counter them. Maybe many people seem to be able to do so since I consistently get splattered. And I think that's really it. When new metas come, new essences come, and basically classes change, you just got to find the new way to take that down. And maybe some of the new essences that are there for your class are the answer. Alley of Blood dropped inside of the game as of this morning, so if you're someone that enjoys that game mode, now's the time for you to hop in. You can get some battle points and some other nice rewards. Deal damage across all matches. You get some nice gems there. I actually like that reward a lot. Yeah, so not too bad with the rewards that they're offering here with the Alley of Blood. But as you know, Survivor's Bane is my favorite. We're going to make our way over there. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do now is I have 5 comments that I chose from yesterday's video that I want to discuss, maybe a little bit more in depth, some of them. Why don't we take a look at some of the comments while playing some Survivor's Bane, make it a casual discussion type point here. We're going to be running Ashwald Cemetery, and we're going to be doing not the endless mode, but the longer mode. That's where we're going to start. And Sal's Clips comes through with this comment saying, I myself was surprised how good the Phantom Market cosmetic is. It's definitely popular as most of my warband purchased it. And I have to say, I really do agree. This Phantom Market cosmetic is one of the nicer ones that we've seen in a while, at least in my opinion. As always, remember, cosmetics are subjective based off of taste. This matches my taste very well. I'm gonna go with the spinning shields here. I usually don't like starting with Ray of Frost, by the way, when I'm playing is this. We're gonna go with command skeletons. They're just gonna protect me a little bit. But yeah, I do think that Blizzard and NetEase did a nice job with this cosmetic. As I've mentioned in previous videos, someone said that it reminds them of a couple of characters from Raid Shadow Legends. I discussed that in a previous video, and I actually happen to agree. But man, it's good. And it's not only good because it looks good, it's good because of how they set it up. Like the wizard, just awesome looking with how the male has the wife's head as the weapon, and the woman has the male's head as the weapon. Just well thought out. I think they did a really nice job, not only with how it looks, but, you know, how it's presented. Even the druid has, the male has the wife on the end of the staff, and the wife has the male on the end of the staff. It's just really, really cool. What I'm hoping for here is that I can get Whirlwind, and we'll see if that'll actually be unlocked. I only have one more skill. I went for Zephyr's Surge, I believe it is, because it gives me some invulnerability. Werewolf, we're going to go with Werebear right here again. Yeah, there it is right there. Worked out nice. I think I have a pretty good build to get to the end of this. This is not endless. That'll be the one that I do next. But overall, I do believe that the cosmetic was a complete win. And the next comment's from Evil7785. He says, hey Echo, I've been watching your videos for a few months now, and thank you for all the guides and news you share. They're very helpful. No problem, man. I'm glad that you enjoy. I have a question. Do you have any news or rumors about this? Do you think there's a chance that cosmetics that were previously released in the Phantom Market will return in the future? I came back to the game 2 months ago and missed the collaboration skins with Warcraft and Berserk. I hope they put them back in the Phantom Market sooner or later. So let's discuss that. Phantom Market cosmetics have come back to the game. We saw it happen with the, what was it? The Mad King, I believe. I think that was the one that ended up coming back to the game from the past. So is it doable? Yes. I think it's easier to do with cosmetics that are not crossover cosmetics, or that are crossover cosmetics with a game that Blizzard owns the IP of, like Warcraft. Here's the Whirlwind I was looking for. So that person was saying that they want the Warcraft cosmetic. There could be a chance that that comes back in the future. I don't think that it would be crazy if it did. The problem with cosmetics returning is if it does return, there's a lot of people that already have it that are still playing the game. So as far as sales go, Blizzard would have to look at that and say, well, we're going to have less sales on this one because people already own the cosmetic. It's already on their account. They're not going to buy anything from it again. So that's the downfall from their development standpoint, right? They don't want to put out cosmetics that people already own that they're going to just have lower sales on. They want to always try to increase those sales. But doesn't mean it can't happen. Maybe they have a time where they just don't have a lot of the cosmetics prepared. They don't have a new cosmetic prepared. Maybe they want to up the how often cosmetics are dropped inside of the game, so they start putting them in. Maybe they're going to want to do a bi-weekly cosmetic over time or something like that. And if they do, let's get this disintegration shrine right here. And if they do, then they could just double up and they'll be actually making more money, and you'll be able to get the cosmetics that you want. It's essentially a win-win situation. We're going to go with melee range increased. But for something like the Berserk, so that's going to be a lot more difficult. When you think about the Berserk IP crossover, which in my opinion was done so well, Blizzard slayed it with that one. That's going to be harder to do, because any time that things Berserk related would be put back into the game, revenues are going to have to be shared with that IP. And it's not that they wouldn't want to share it with the IP, but I don't know how those communications have stayed as time has gone on since that collaboration has happened. You know, I'm not sure if the connection is still there, if the collaboration went well for both parties, if they want to engage again. There's a lot more moving pieces when you have to include another party, right? And when you bring back crossover cosmetics from something that's not your own IP, then you have to deal with outside parties, and that could become difficult. Not saying it's impossible. I think that it can happen. I actually, and not strictly from the cosmetic side of things, because the Berserk cosmetics are not my favorite. I think they're good, but they're not my favorite. I think that that crossover was possibly one of the best ones that they've had. Blizzard, in my opinion, has been doing a pretty good job with these crossover events. It's been actually not only good cosmetics, but it's been a lot of fun to participate in them. So I would love to see it come back. Of course, not as the full crossover event again, but even as the cosmetics coming back for players like yourself. Now, T-Clink Gaming is saying, I love the new cosmetic. It fits the theme of Halloween, and I got the Crimson one on the free-to-play account with my free draw. That's actually awesome. Good for you. Again, happy Halloween to everyone. I hope you have great plans and things going on later on. I'm going out with the kids at a friend's house. We have a big bash for Halloween. Walk around the town. We have a big Halloween town where I live. And this is going to be a good time. And then tomorrow I have the adult Halloween party, which is what that mask is for. And, well, that's going to be fun in a different way. So guys, let me know what your plans are for Halloween. Do you have anything good planned? Is it a big holiday for you, or do you kind of, you know, not care about what's going on? Summons will explode on death. Yeah, we want to do that. We want to get our skeletons to explode on death. You know, Halloween, it's a good day to be a necromancer inside of the game, and it's also a good day to run some Survivor's Bane, have a casual video, and talk about what you guys, the community, have to say. I've really been liking Werebear in this as well. It does some type of a healing ability, and I just feel like I'm with Whirlwind and Werebear. I'm just always alive. Even, what's the other one that I'm using right now? Can we pause for a second? I'm using this one right here, the Zephyr Surge. Can't be targeted while attacking, makes me invincible for a certain amount of time as well, which I really do like. So it works out really good. Here's another skill and an upgrade. We're going to upgrade our Werebear. Now crushes and slams 3 times. In roar mode, slamming the ground, stunning. We're going to hit the ground 3 times for more damage. And we're going to get our Crusader Shield up. Because remember, once we get the Crusader Shield maxed, then we could also heal if we catch our shield. I'm getting to the point right now where I could probably just stand still and see what kind of, how that all goes. Let's see what we can do right here. But first, actually, let's see what we can do before I get into another comment. Look at that cleanup right there, man. Ooh, that was nice. We got a skill upgrade right here. But we have another comment or two saying, we have Tara Lee saying, 1978, I had to buy the cosmetic. I love it. That's what I love to hear. That's what Blizzard wants to hear. The cosmetic was so good, I had to buy it. Then Angie says, this is one of the coolest cosmetics that's been released, and I have to say, I agree. I'm going to go ahead here with the Spinning Shield. And, oh, we get another one. We're going to get Spinning Shield again. I could probably get another upgrade if I just get my Whirlwind running right here. Whirlwind, there we go. Choose the upgrade. We're going to go right here. That will heal me. I'll take the extra healing. Now I heal from Whirlwind. I heal from Spinning Shield. It seems that there's some type of healing that comes from the bear. It's all looking pretty good. We're getting some solid upgrades. Now we're going to get our skeletons up in level because they kind of keep everything away from me. We're going to go skeletons again. I'm going to get out of the way right here. You know what I actually like to do? When bosses come, I like to collect. I run away. We'll get the Conduit Shrine. And I collect. I just go get all of the blues, level up, while, you know, maybe some of my passive stuff does some damage to that boss while I'm actually running around and leveling up. I'm patient, you know? This is Disintegration Shrine right here. I don't even think we need it because the boss is almost taken down. Is taken down. Wow, that was actually fairly easy. We're going to go with the max skeletons. They're going to deal damage. Beautiful. And we're going to go here, get another piece of equipment. Movement speed's increased after 10 skill or projectile. Let's go with projectile radius. That'll be quite helpful. I have another comment, which we're going to take a look at right now. Get Wrecked, or Get Wrecked, 8439 says, genuinely curious, why doesn't he collect his battle points immediately? Why just hoard some to some extent? What's the benefit around that? Let's talk about it. So the whole point behind me hoarding my battle points is essentially the lower or the further you are from server paragon level, the bigger the rewards are that you receive. The further beyond server paragon level you are, the lesser the rewards are that you receive. So the thought process is, if you don't collect your battle points as you get them, as the week goes on, you'll be progressing your battle pass from other things, activities that you can collect from, or just doing events that are inside of the game, things like that. So it's not like progression is not going to happen. I don't have any fire skills, so that was actually not a good one to pick up. But as time goes on, I'm just going to be getting more rewards from doing the things like my dailies, my bounties, whatever I choose to do inside of the game for the day. They'll be more fruitful as that time goes on. I may be a little bit lower in server paragon level than others until the end of the week, or lately I've been doing it for the entire month. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have a massive turn-in and a huge advantage when I go into when I basically am collecting at the end of the week or the end of the month. When I was collecting weekly, I was finding myself never being behind server paragon level. At the start of the week, I would always be put right into the server paragon level. It was great. And then at the start, and if I did it at the end of the month, well, then I would just be getting a massive jump because I'm able to keep up with the server paragon myself just from playing. What are we going to go with here? Zephyr Surge, lightning damage. Yeah, let's go with the more lightning damage. Remember, this is not endless, so this is not going to be a 20-minute run, but it's still timely enough. We want to make sure we gear up well enough so that we won't be taken down. The last thing that we got to get up is our Ray of Frost. Now, I don't think that if you're someone that collects your battle points as they come, that you're giving yourself a huge disadvantage. I think that the advantage that I'm talking about with the battle points and saving them is a small advantage. I don't have a calculation down to be able to tell you, oh, you're getting 30% more experience over time. But I do know that when I would collect my battle points and I would be always collecting them, it would be midweek. I'd be, 10 levels above server paragon, and I'd only be getting 10 or 20% of my rewards. So I felt like I was playing and grinding, getting very, very little rewards. At the end of this, when I'm done with this run, I'll actually show you guys what it looks like so that you can see what I'm talking about a little bit more in depth. I can't look at it from this screen that I'm on right now, but it's just something I like to do. I like to collect them. I like to get that big turn in at the end of the month. Even if you're not someone that wants to do it with battle points, doing it with your blessings that you get every single day, or if you do some shadow wars and things like that, it just gives you a nice little jump when it's that time. So you may say right now, Echo, it's the new, you could get up to the new Inferno 9. And yes, I could get to Inferno 9 right now if I wanted to. But I mean, could I? Yeah, I just don't care. That's the thing. If you wanted to get to Inferno 9 right now and be up on Inferno 9, then yeah, I get it. I get why you would want to take your battle points and collect them every moment that you have the opportunity to. But for me, I'm patient. Remember, I like to play every game that I play in a bit of a casual fashion. 2 additional rays, cheating. Let's go with, I never go with create ice armor. Never. So let's do it this time. Why not, right? We're almost done with this anyway. I think this is about to be done. So that's my thought process on it. It was actually recommended to me a ways back from a guy named Y Try. He was a big Diablo Immortal guy. He had a server built out for it, a huge community that was awesome. He does not play the game anymore, I don't believe, unfortunately. But that was where the idea initially came from for me, and I've been running with it since. I'll show you in just a moment. As you can see, we got some good rewards. 16 legendary, 17, 18. This is crazy, the amount of stuff that we just got here. Let's exit. Happy Halloween. Thanks for all the rewards, man. Plus, again, we get all of these achievements too, right? Let's claim all of these. So many rewards that they're going to be going into my bag, and my bag will most likely be full right now. That typically happens when those treasure gobs come to town. See, as you can see right here, we're full. Let's salvage equipment. Then I'm going to get the rest of the stuff out of my bag, out of my mail, which is right here. Actually, is that it? And this is what I'm talking about my unclaimed assembly rewards. This experience right here, I just hold it, and I use it at the end of the week or at the end of the month. And I do the same thing with my Shadow Weekly rewards. I do the same thing with my Wind of Fortune rewards. These right here, you know, 444 Battle Pass points. It's going to be progressed and it's going to go nicely. Sometimes things here have an expiration date. Most of the time, they do not. But if we're taking a look, and I know we're talking about this for a while, I'm at Paragon 1093. Server Paragon is 1090. If you take a look, a little bit of a closer look here, I'm only getting 60% of the rewards because I'm above the server Paragon. This is the progression system used by the game that prevents players from getting too far ahead so that newer players have the ability to catch up. If I was at server Paragon 1100, I'd be getting about 10% of my rewards. Maybe 20, I forget what it actually was, but it's very low, which means it's so slow for me to progress. If I collect my battle points and those experiences that I just shared with you from my mail, I'd be at Paragon 1100. I can then move to the next level and yada, yada, yada. But I'm patient. I'll wait until Monday and I'll just get it then. You know, I'm just gonna, it's gonna be easier because when Monday comes around, I'll probably progress myself to, I'll actually probably progress myself if I play decent over the weekend to 1100. Then Monday comes and everything's even easier because I'm maybe potentially below server Paragon level. This will be 100% or 120% rewards, and it's just going to be much easier for me to progress and to get a whole bunch of stuff from doing that. Hope that was a good enough explanation. By the way, we did just do the event as well. So Hollow's Wake, we got a little there, and Survivor's Bane. See, this is how I collect and progress my Battle Pass without collecting. We collect these event things, Battle Pass 8, right? We're collecting these types of things that still allow me to progress. More Battle Pass progression there. 80 right here, level 9 of Battle Pass. Boom. So if we participate in events that the game has to offer, Survivor's Bane is a good example, and as I mentioned earlier, Alley of Blood gives us good Battle Pass progression as well. If we progress those, we can still get good Battle Pass progression, get some of the rewards. And again, I'm not anxious to get the Battle Pass progressed quickly. I know by the end of the season I'm going to have it done. And to be transparent, I don't need this cosmetic. Not when I'm wearing something like the one that is overwhelmingly applauded from this most recent Phantom Market. It's a freaking awesome cosmetic, and a lot of people think so. So I don't need to rush anything else because I'm very happy wearing this. Definitely a bit more of a casual video today, but sometimes I like to talk about what you guys have in mind. This is fun. I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Hope you enjoy the game today. Let me know what you're going to be planning, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Welcome back to Diablo Immortal. Today I want to talk to you guys specifically about the Blessings of Legends and why I think this is a great event, as well as how to use it appropriately and the best places to farm the most legendary gear so that you're able to get the most advantage out of this event. As you probably already know, this gives you a chance of better high quality equipment, new essences that just dropped inside of the game, and even equipment for other classes that you're potentially going to be playing. Now, it's worth noting that when you do activate this, you're actually activating all three of these blessings at the same time. You don't have to focus in on one of them. So whenever you're farming or doing any activities inside of the game that you choose to do, your blessing is there and you have the ability to get better odds of dropping gear that's going to be useful to you. Now, if you're not sure how to activate this blessing, it's pretty simple. As you can see this icon right here above my head, when you click on that, it takes you to the activation screen. If it's not there, it's probably on the bottom of your screen if you're playing on mobile, or that's what I've seen when I've put it on my phone. Now, when you do click on that, it brings up this scene right here. Same things that it was talking about and showing us in the previous image, and you just click on activate blessings. But there's something that's really cool of this, a mechanic that we haven't seen before inside Diablo, and that is the ability to start and pause the blessing activation. Now, if we think back to the Winds of Fortune, when we get 24 hours, one straight day of 2x experience and drops from our playing inside of the game, there is no ability to pause. You essentially start your 2x XP and you have 24 hours of whatever you do in that time to take advantage of it. This allows us to pause. So you're able to dive on in and you could play for 20 minutes, activate your blessing, get that enhanced drops, and then when you realize, okay, I have to go do something else, you can then pause your blessing and save it for later on in the day or even for another day. Because another thing worth mentioning is these blessings stack up to 7 days. Every single day you unlock 1 hour of blessing. And if you don't use that full hour, it moves to the next day, up to a total of 7 days or 7 hours worth of blessing time stacked. After that, you'll start losing time. So it'll be 7 days max. And if you go 8, 9, 10 days without using it, you won't get 8, 9, or 10 hours. It will stay at 7 hours, which when you think about it, is still a lot of blessing time. So if you're someone that doesn't play every single day, you don't have to worry about getting and putting the most blessing time in each day, again, because it stacks and you can take the most advantage from it. All you have to do is simply activate a blessing, and then 5 minutes later, because you have to put in 5 minutes of time, then you're able to deactivate the blessing and you'll still have 55 minutes left from that day's hours worth of blessing. This is something that I think is really cool, and it gives me the question, would we prefer, when something like Winds of Fortune comes, would we prefer to have 24 hours of 2x XP, but we can't control if it stops, pauses, or anything? If it was just, we control the day it starts, and then we have a straight 24 hours? Or would we prefer, now that this pausing mechanic is here, would we prefer to get 4 hours of Winds of Fortune 2x XP, but that's actually pausable? I guess the question really is, are you guys playing 4 hours a day where you activate Winds of Fortune? You have at least 4 hours of gameplay through that day. I would bet that many players, most players who play Diablo Immortal, do not have that much playtime inside of the game. So let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see, and if this mechanic, this pause blessing mechanic, is something you'd like to see in other events such as Winds of Fortune. Now, it's worth keeping in mind, and now we're going to be talking about where are the best places to actually utilize this. This is not something that you get from chests, limited time events, or other non-combat rewards. You need to be in battle when you're trying to get the legendary pieces of gear from this. So the question may be, where are the best places to farm legendary pieces of gear the most quickly? Now, this may be repetitive for some of you, and if you're someone that doesn't want repetitive gameplay and you just want to play the game as you like, then do what you like, as long as you're fighting monsters during your blessing time. But there are definitely some places that you could farm, continuously farm, to get good legendary drops. And as you guys can see, just from a little bit of playtime right here with my activated blessing, I did get a bunch of legendary pieces of gear. One of them was an improvement. Unfortunately, it has vitality instead of fortitude. The combat rating is higher, but it's not something I'm going to be switching to because I don't want to work on vitality. The question is, did I get any new essences from this? Remember, the new essences did just drop inside of the game. Let's go to the essence transfer. Let's multi-extract, and let's see. Yes, I did. Frozen Stare. It seems that I did get one brand new essence from, like I said, just probably 15 minutes utilizing this blessing. Ray of Frost also weakens enemies, decreasing the damage they deal by 10% for 2 seconds. So the question is that because of the event, or is that because I just got lucky and happened to drop another piece of legendary gear? I like to believe it's from the Blessings event, which, by the way, is going on until the 17th of December. So we have a month and a half of this event to try and help us get better pieces of legendary gear. This is going to become even more valuable to players once you get yourself into the next Inferno difficulty, if you happen to get yourself to Inferno 9, which is something that most people can probably go to now. I myself can as well. So we'll switch on over to Inferno 9. I'm not sure why I wasn't on that already. But now, because on Monday, we're going to be at 1,100 Paragon for your servers, sorry. So it's going to be an even better time to get those new legendary pieces of gear, because you're going to be able to get pieces of gear that are going to have higher combat rating and just better stats overall. Now, when we're talking about where should you be farming, where are you going to get the best drops, think about what you do in the day that gives you the most legendary items. Now, if you're someone that's sitting with a ton of bounties to do, well, you may want to do your bounties and get them done because you don't want them to go ignored and just not do them. So, of course, do your bounties. I also really do like the ability to go and farm legendary gear inside of random dungeons, and specifically challenge dungeons. I've found that I get quite a bit of legendary pieces of gear while just running my dungeons for the day. On top of that, you also get really good legendary drops from when you run Heliquaries. So when you're running your Heliquary on Monday or Thursday, the 20 to 30 minutes it takes to do that, it's definitely a good time to run your blessing during that time as well, because you're guaranteed those legendaries. Now, on top of that, there are probably two other places that I really do like to go for legendary gear. One of those is the Abyssal Verge, and the other one is Erebon. I think that they have really good legendary gear drops, and it's not a bad spot for you to go do that farming. Of course, if you don't like these game modes, if they're not something that you enjoy, then it's not something that you should do. Always do things that you enjoy, even if you're trying to take advantage of the blessing like we are here today. But I do believe that these are good places that'll give you good legendary drops, plus they'll help progress that for your runes as well. You'll get yourself monstrous essence, and it's just overall a good spot to farm. One of my favorites for farming all the time is the Abyssal Verge. Now, it wouldn't be a day if I didn't take at least one comment from you guys, the community, from my comment section, and this one came from Amar Kumar Das from yesterday's video, speaking about the Phantom Market cosmetic. He says, "Hey Echo, I've been playing 3 weeks back. I started playing 3 weeks back, and I'm loving it. Love watching your videos, each and every detail you mention for newbies." I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. He says, "Here's what I think about one of the comments we were discussing in the video, bring the old Phantom Market cosmetics back." I was thinking of this as, let's bring them back as like an official drop, but maybe there's another way. If there could be an option in the existing Phantom Market to allow players to choose a new cosmetic or one of the few selected old cosmetics, wouldn't it be great? Each season, the set of old cosmetics would change. I believe this will enable more users to increase overall Blizzard's profit. You know what? This is actually a great idea, and it's not how I was initially thinking of the Phantom Market, but what if, when the Phantom Market dropped, a new Phantom Market, you had the ability to just buy old Phantom Market cosmetics from the shelf as an exclusive item. So now it costs us $170 for all items in the Phantom Market, right? Now, for that $170, you get all these other things. You get these other cosmetics as well. You get portals, you get weapons, you even get the rewards you have from the accumulated items as well. On top of that, you get all the other features of the cosmetic. But what if there was the ability to go to a little store, and inside of the store, it held the old Phantom Market cosmetic and the portal that goes along with it, and of course, like the ultimate and all that. So not the extra things, but just this and this, and even, you know, the ultimate and stuff like that. And the question is, what should the price be? And I don't think it can be cheaper than what it costs for the Phantom Market cosmetics here, because if it were, people wouldn't buy the new Phantom Market cosmetics. They'd just wait for them to go into that shop where they can get them at a discount. So I think the price may actually have to be the same. So you would get this, this, and this, all for the $170, which is quite expensive, but it would allow people to get the cosmetics that they had missed in the past, and it would also not dissuade people, if that's even a word, from getting the new Phantom Market cosmetics. It would actually give a benefit to people getting the Phantom Market cosmetics as they drop, because they get all the additional things as well, including all the accumulated items. So I think that's something that's actually a really great idea. I like it a lot. Let me know your thoughts down below. And guys, remember, whenever you comment on a video, there's a chance that you'll wind up in the next YouTube video featuring that comment. Appreciate you guys. Hope you have a great day. See you soon.